Our first presenter is from AST. He is Josh Russell, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Josh is going to present an in-depth demonstration of AST's isolated Genesis R. This flexible modular fill finish machine features a fully integrated HMI and automated processing of nested, custom, and ready-to-use vials, syringes, and cartridges. With toolless change parts and minimum changeover times, the Genesis R is perfect for pipelining a diverse selection of small batch pharmaceutical products. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, it's great to be here again another year at the Virtual Pharma Expo, and thank you everyone for your attendance this morning. And as always, AST is really excited to really try and transport everybody virtually to our manufacturing facility and give you a better feel for what AST is delivering to the market these days, and we're very excited to showcase that to you, each of you today. Before we kind of teleport ourselves to AST's factory in Washington State, USA, I did want to give just a brief introduction to AST. As a company, we've been present since 1965. We are a U.S.-based manufacturer of turnkey aseptic fill finish systems. And our product offerings really span the spectrum. They've been designed to support all phases of the drug product process, really from development and discovery to clinical all the way to commercial manufacturing. So as you might imagine, this diverse array of products really has to have a unique subset of capabilities in order to meet the diverse array of needs as a product really goes from the bench discovery level all the way ultimately to the patient. And so we're excited today to showcase our Genesis R system, as Perry had mentioned previously. We have a unique opportunity today where we decided, rather than in years past where we showed a fully operational machine, in this instance you're seeing a machine that's closing in on the final phases of testing and getting ready for factory acceptance testing, blended with some operational videos of previous systems shown. But we're excited to show some of the newer features that we're offering on our Genesis R lines. And this is a great line for applications where high yield, high value pharmaceutical products are really expected. Every product has to be carefully managed, tracked, traced, and ultimately delivered for the patient. And this is a system that delivers upon that. So with that, Miles, why don't you go ahead and teleport us back to the factory?
So what I have behind me is our Genesis R robotic filling system. It's very similar to our Genesis C system that we exhibited last year, which is a matrix-based filler that is able to fill vials, syringes, and cartridges that are ready to use format. Genesis R is able to do the same. However, rather than filling within the nest, it removes the containers from the nest and processes them individually. Now, what we're also going to be showing the modular makeup of this system, which includes a semi-automatic bag opener, a manual tub opener, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the manual tub opener and what makes this particular solution a little bit different than some of the others that we've done previously. We have our fill close module, which is our Genesis R20 fill close module, which is a two-head filling machine. And then at the tail end of the fill close module, we have our vial sealing module 25L, which stands for a linear output machine. And then integrated within that is the aseptic isolator that is designed specifically for AST's machines, has the integrated RTP ports, mouse holes, and the hydrogen peroxide system integrated with it so that you have a complete turnkey package. So here with me, I have two of our modules. This is a semi-automatic bag opener, or SABO module, and here is our manual tub opener module. And you see that each of these are kind of discrete building blocks, or Legos as I like to describe them to people. And so with AST's philosophy in building, designing our aseptic systems is that we try to take a modular approach to everything that we do. And this particular module here is a little unique from what we see and what I'm going to be showcasing with the Genesis R system here in a few moments, in that there's a perimeter groove around the entire module. In this particular application, the customer had a specific requirement of being able to VHP or biodecontaminate this module independently from the remaining isolator sections of the system. And so, great, no problem. It didn't mean a difference, so to speak, of the module design and construction. It really meant a changing, reconfiguring of the isolator that surrounds it. And so that was easily accommodated with minimal effort to the module itself. And that one big advantage of going with a modular type approach is both lead time, so schedule. Second benefit is the ability to minimize or eliminate a lot of technical risk. And then lastly is to be able to budget, right? Becomes really important, because as AST, we're not having to invest a tremendous amount of engineering labor and time into these modules on every machine. We invest up front in the design of robust and reliable machine segments, or Legos as I mentioned before, so they can be simply easily configured to meet our customers' unique requirements. So then the only real question becomes is, what is a container that the client wants to process, and what are the unique processes that they require? And then we build specific change parts to accommodate those specific requirements. And so what I like to say is, we're configuring a system to meet the needs of our customers. So one of the common applications with the Genesis R system that we commonly address is the cell and gene therapy application, specifically gene therapies. Now, what I have here on the table in front of me is a number of different formats that we're able to process on this machine, but one that's quite common in particular that gets requested is the Daikyo West CZ, or Crystal Zenith vial. And that particular product historically has come in what we call a tray pack. One of the typical challenges with a tray pack, as you might be able to see, is it is somewhat flimsy, moves. The vials are close packed together, and what has to happen is the vials themselves have to be inverted in such a way that they don't fall over, but also transferred to a dead plate, a rotary table, and then fed into the machine for filling and stoppering. So all of that introduces a number of key risks. One, scratching and bruising the vial can occur. Sometimes the vials are top heavy, they're extremely light, and so they're tippy. And so you end up having a number of dominoes that can fall over the machine, and it makes for a nightmare intervention. So one of the more recent product innovations and developments that West has come out with is nesting the vials themselves. Now, the interesting thing about our Genesis R system behind us is it is actually able to process both the tray pack vial that West makes in the CZ configuration and the nested vial with just a simple set of change part differences. So I want to show a little bit about that now with the modular makeup, and let's do that now. Here we have our semi-automatic bag opener, or SABO, integrated with the RABs outside of the aseptic isolator. So in front of that is a mouse hole that separates the two sections of the machine. So an operator would essentially bring the tub in through an indexing conveyor on the outside of the machine, where they'll place it onto this anvil assembly, actuate it, and then initiate a no-touch transfer into the aseptic isolator. So now I'm taking us to our manual tub opener, but we also have automatic tub openers as well to automatically peel the Tyvek lid and liner from the system. But in this instance, what we're doing is, as I mentioned before, we have a West CZ tray pack. And here I'm showing a 2R West CZ tray pack, which actually is most densely populated with these very small vials. And with the system, what the operator will do within this section of the machinery is remove the vacuum sealed over bag, discard that along with the plastic lid into the 190 RTP that's on the outside of the isolator. And then what the system will do is it will index the trade vials into our Genesis R FCM, where the robotic system will automatically denest each of the individual vials and then transfer them, invert them and transfer them to the robot that will handle them for the filling and stoppering process. So let's go have a look at that next. So here we're at the Genesis R fill close module. And as I mentioned before, when we were talking about our manual tub opening station with the WestCZ tray pack, is we're using a robot that is normally used to remove the nest of vials, syringes or cartridges from the tub, places it on a centering plate as we have shown here. Actually has robotic, specifically designed robotic tooling that's going to pick the vials two up from the tray pack, invert them because they're upside down within the tray pack, invert them and place them on a custom fixture on the centering plate so that the robot that is transiting the vials to the filling and stoppering stations can grab them, fill and stopper them, and then place them on a conveyor that transports them to the vial sealing module. Now for nested tubs, we're not processing the tray pack. We're using the robot that I discussed earlier that's grabbing the vials from the tray pack and inverting them. Different tooling it will be used for that arm, and it will take the nest from the tub, place it onto the centering plate. Once put in place, the robot next to it will grip the vials from the nest and transit them over to the IPC load cells. So at the heart of our Genesis R system obviously is the dispense technology behind it. So every cell and gene therapy and other high value pharmaceutical products requires extremely high yield due to the criticality and patient-centric nature of the product. And so being able to have full traceability and accurate dispensing becomes very critical. So here what we have integrated with our system is two AST peristaltic pumps specifically designed for isolator barrier installation. It's got a single operating door that allows you to easily open using a single pull knob, be able to thread the peristaltic tubing, have it secured, and be able to basically fully close the door and be able to do that one-handed if needed through the isolator glove ports. Now, coupled with that system and communicating with it is two IPC technologies on this machine. The first IPC technology and most common is a gravimetric technology. The robotic system places the vials directly onto the gravimetric balance, tearways the vial, and then with a vision system that is ensuring that a vial is present before the drug product is dispensed and make sure there's no gross defects with the container. And then once that has been confirmed, the drug material is dispensed into the container and is weighed. Once it confirms that, then it will index over and rinse and repeat the same process over and over until the process is completed. So after the filling process has been completed, then the vials will be indexed over to the stop ring location. And at the stop ring location, the vials or syringes or cartridges will have their closure placed upon it, and then a vision inspection process will then transpire. For instance, if a vial has either maybe a pop stopper, a raised stopper that wasn't fully seated, or maybe a stopper wasn't placed at all, the vision system would identify that, and then the system would also have the appropriate intelligence to be able to properly either recompress a stopper that was previously placed, place a new stopper on it, and alert the operator of the circumstance so that the operator can take corrective actions as necessary. Once the stop ring has been completed, it's placed upon the conveyor, will they'll individually be transited over to our vial sealing module. Or maybe perhaps for whatever reason there is a reject, that reject can be separated from those vials and then placed in a reject station for remediation. Okay, so our last stop on our Genesis R system is our vial sealing module. Now our vial sealing module comes in two different types of modules. One for nested configurations, but this one right here is a linear output system that goes to a tray off station or a tray loader. Now as you may recall from the previous module that I showed you, the vials don't go back into the nest, but are placed individually onto a conveyor that come to this module for capping. Now, one of the interesting advantages, especially in a gene therapy application, is you want to get the vials off the machinery as quickly as possible. Oftentimes, a cryopreservative is put into the material and that starts the clock. So rather than waiting for an entire nest of product to be filled, they can go directly into the vial sealing module where they are processed as quickly as possible, exit the machine, and be able to have inspection, labeling, and then ultimately go back into the cryo tank. This is an Annex 1 compliant system. It's got vision-based sensors that are inspecting each vial for race stopper detection, and then post-crimping of the aluminum overseal, it's doing a full inspection of the overseal to make sure that it is, one, placed properly and sealed onto the vial. Now, the crimping head itself also has closed-loop feedback and is ensuring that each and every vial is crimped with the appropriate applied pressure or applied force monitoring on each aluminum cap or vial as is processed. Now, should there be a jam in the stopper or in the cap chute in the vibratory bowl, we're able to actually identify that, and if needed, we can rotate that back through so as to eliminate unnecessary rejects or waste in those instances. Now, this system was designed specifically for the West CZ vial. The plastic nature of the vial has unique properties, and one of the things that it has a tendency to do is scratch and bruise very easily. One of the areas where bruising and scratching has historically come from is during the capping process, primarily because the vial has to rotate, and oftentimes it rotates up against something, rotates in a pocket. And so what AST has done is we've developed a unique solution where we eliminate that relative motion between the vial and the things that are holding the vial so that bruising and scratching doesn't occur throughout that process. AST has embedded this solution for the resin-based vials in all of our vial sealing module solutions that integrate with our filling lines.
All right. Well, hey, we're hopefully everybody enjoyed what they what AST was showcasing with their Gen R. And one thing that we didn't demonstrate was is that system was highly focused on a gene therapy application. The system is also used for other applications that would include either pre-filled syringe fill and stoppering capability, cartridges. And then also we offer additional modules that further expand the capability of that system to be able to integrate with lyophilizers for those sort of products that require lyophilization, and all of which can really provide a immense degree of capabilities and flexibility for a great degree of products. And we like to say flexibility is the antidote to uncertainty, right? We don't always know the direction our pipeline will carry us and take us. Perhaps you're a CMO and your business is focused catering one particular client or product, but we all know things change, right? And to be able to have a single dedicated system that is able to provide the capabilities and easily adapt to new features, new products, really provides what I say, a Swiss Army knife that is really able to be as nimble as your business needs it to be. So, with that, I wanted to make sure and provide ample time for questions. I'm sure that there are plenty out there with what we showcased. So, really excited to get those questions.
Great demonstration of the Genesis R, Josh. I always love your walkthroughs. We do have questions. I think we're going to get more questions than we have time for, but we'll try to get through. You mentioned, so you were focused on gene therapy in your demonstration, but you also said that you can do syringe and cartridge closing. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So the two common methods for closing syringes or cartridges are using what we'll call mechanical or vent tube insertion of those plungers, and then also vacuum stoppering. And AST also offers an option, a hybrid between the two for applications that of oxygen sensitive products and really want to minimize any sort of bubble in those containers. And so as with the vials that we showed on the machine, AST provides a very basic set of change parts. Those change parts can be easily placed on the machinery. The changeover process is recipe driven, meaning once you have your recipe set, you hit the buttons, the machinery automatically self-adjusts with the servos on the machine, and you're off to the races. So very simple to do, and the machine offers that capabilities.
Joseph has a really good question. So you emphasized this is perfect for small batches, quick changeover, ideal for CDMOs that are doing a lot of that work. Joseph has a question. What's the maximum throughput for the Genesis R?
Yeah, great question. So for the machine that we showed on the floor with the 2-head pump filler, that has a machine range of up to 20 units per minute with all those features. And then for applications that require higher end output and capabilities, we have our Asepticell product, which can go up to 100 units per minute.
Okay, that's great. And so what's approximate delivery time? Can you talk a little bit about delivery times?
Yeah, great question. As I touched on earlier in the presentation, all of our systems are designed to really have these discrete Lego blocks that can be configured to every application that comes to us. And that really offers us a really keen advantage of being able to deliver our systems in really a time-efficient manner. So, as with all things, they're application dependent and certainly workload dependent, but commonly we see, our delivery times for an isolated GenR filling line to be 12 to 14 months.
Okay, great. Josh, always good to see you. Great demonstration. I love it. We've got a lot of questions, and so you'll have a lot of follow-ups to do.
You know what? Every year I make sure to answer every single one, so keep them coming. We'll be happy to answer them, and thanks so much for everybody's attendance today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.